What do you think? Again, we can apply different math to billionaires. I get that. But what is a fair share someone should fork over to the government?
Well, look, I represent Silicon Valley. We create $10 trillion of wealth in my district. I'm proud of the entrepreneurs, but I think someone who's a multimillionaire, billionaire should pay at least as much percent of their income in tax as a teacher or a firefighter or a police officer. I think that's what the president is saying.
All right. So when you're talking about a top rate that around the time of Barack Obama, in and out of that 39.6%, Donald Trump brought it down to a little less than that. Is that enough?
Yeah, I don't think that's the real issue. I mean, we've been hovering around 35, 39% over the last 3 decades, and Democrats take it up to 39, Republicans bring it down to 37. I obviously am for what Obama had it at around 39. The issue is, though, that people aren't paying that. They're paying, whether you cite the president's number at 8% or it's 10 or 15%, they're certainly not paying anywhere near the 39%, and they're paying less than people who are on W-2 employees or salaried as janitors or truck drivers or teachers, and that's what drives the anger.
Where is the creativity? I get the creativity when it comes to finding ways to get more money and raise money. I'd never find the impetus to save money. In other words, to address the same sort of resolve to spending that we do to paying for the spending.
Neil, I share it. I went after companies that were doing single source contracts with our Pentagon budget. As you know, that's almost $1 trillion. That's about 55% of federal discretionary budget. Why don't we have a more competitive procurement process and not have the jacked up prices? 60 Minutes did a whole report on it. So I'm all for making government spending more efficient.
I'm all for just being clear and honestly clear, Congressman. And when I heard the president, talking about we take $3 trillion off deficits over the next 10 years, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's phenomenal. Then I look, at the details. He's talking about saving that off the growth in deficits anyway. They'll still average about $1.7 trillion in red ink per year over the next 10 years. So we are actually adding $15 trillion in debt to our country, and he's talking about it could be 18 trillion, so I've saved you that. It's just weird.
Well, look, Neil, that it's been a bipartisan issue that we've had
absolutely
a huge
on that. You're quite
deficit.
Right.
And we need to first figure out where we raise revenue, and that's not popular in Washington. And we need to figure out where we cut spending, including.
But I think we need to speak English, Congressman, right? We need the president to say, I'm not really saving you anything. It would be like if, I was committing to a diet, and I end up gaining 30 pounds over the course of the decade. But I might have gained 40 pounds, and I say I lost 10 pounds. You and I both know, even though the cameras, we've met, it does add, okay, it doesn't add any weight. It's just me being fat. But you know what I'm saying, that we make it a twisted argument to justify more spending by saying, well, I could have spent a hell of a lot more. We could have had debt that was a lot higher than it will be, but it will still be over $15 trillion of added red ink. And he's presenting it as I saved you $3 trillion. No, you haven't. You just lied.
Well, first, for the record, you look great on camera, so I just want to get that out of the way.
But it's the suit. But go ahead.
But look, I wouldn't say he's lying. I would say, though, let's speak plainly.
Congressman, that's a lie. You're a gentleman. I don't mean dispersion because I see it on all sides. But to say you're saving that kind of money when you're bragging about actually pairing the deeper hole by not making it as deep a hole, that is lying to people. And that is bragging about something you shouldn't be bragging about.
Well, I think maybe more accurate is we're going to try to reduce the growth of the debt or deficit. Whatever you want to call it.
Do you find that encouraging to reduce the growth of something? You hear $3 trillion, go, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute, it's going up by more than 15 trillion. We're not, if that's reducing growth, I would be Mama Cass on steroids. I mean, it doesn't make sense, right?
Well, look, I think the reality is we got to figure out a way to increase revenue. That means what the president's talking about, being willing to have billionaires, millionaires pay more effective tax. It also means, as I've proposed, scrap the cap on Social Security, have it be taxed higher after $400,000. Look, those are concrete proposals, and you may like them, dislike them. That's increasing revenue.
None of them are in this.
And have a reduction of some of the defense spending. I mean, now, people may disagree on values, but my challenge would be is you propose your own way of increasing revenue and decreasing spending. That's what we need to do.
How about just be more creative with finding ways to save money on what we're spending, and then address what we're pouring into it, regardless of who you're zeroing in on? Why can't we do that? Or at least give a particle of the same time we do to raising money to saving money. You think we can do that?
Well, we can, but Neil, here's the thing. When the Democrats talk about it, we talk about the 55%, which is the military budget, and saying, let's do it there. The Republicans talk about the social spending. We've got to do it.
You talk past each other.